This is the plaintiff, Howard Porter Jr. He says he dated the defendant, and they moved in together, and he helped him out with his car payments and some other bills, too. He also paid the rent, and he soon realized the relationship was becoming totally one-sided. Once he discovered the defendant was dating his ex-boyfriend, the fur really began to fly. And here they are. He's suing for $2,059.51, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Matthew Swignulli. He says the plaintiff was the one who cheated on him first. That's when their relationship began to go south. As far as owing him any money, he made all the car payments himself. Doesn't owe him for rent and is pretty sure he'll walk out of this courtroom the victor today. He's accused of sticking it to an ex, but good.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says he became like a cash register, fronting money for the defendant, only to find out that the defendant was dating the plaintiff's ex-boyfriend. But the defendant says the plaintiff is the one who cheated. It's the case of high infidelity.
Okay, Howard Porter Jr., you are suing Matthew Swignulli for $2,059.51 that you say he owes you in car payments, harassment, and lease breaking. Tell me what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Around January the 29th, me and defendant, we ended our relationship.
How long had you been dating?
2 years.
Okay.
Upon ending our relationship...
Did you live together?
Yes.
Okay.
So we were on a lease together.
Okay, and then you were supposed to continue to live there together until when?
We were supposed to pay the relating fee. We had put in our 60-day notice and was supposed to move out, I believe, May 24th.
Okay, so go ahead.
So he started to go default on some of his bills. The first thing, he wasn't paying his car note. And so he was going around, he was telling some of his friends, which came back and told me that he couldn't afford the car. But we
What
were
does
not,
that have to do with you?
because the car is in my name. So
Why is the car in your name?
I went to co-sign for the car, but they put me as primary and him as co-signer. The dealership told me that it didn't matter because we were joint ownership.
But they were doing that so because you have better credit?
Yes.
So it wasn't an accident. They didn't
Right.
make a mistake. Don't imply that. You deliberately put it in your name. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Go on.
So this was the second car. The first one was a Chrysler 200. He said the Chrysler 200 was too small for him and he wasn't happy with it. So, and getting a new car, I told him, I said, this is a high car note. I don't want to sign for it. And, you know.
But you did.
I was in a relationship, and
So?
I get the puppy dog eyes and stuff, and I fall for it. So, after getting him...
So it's his fault for having puppy dog eyes?
No.
Oh, okay.
So after getting him the Altima, it was a 2013 Altima. So I was telling him before he even got the car note, you're going to have to work to keep this. But I had got him his first job working with my company. My best friend had got him a second job working with her company at the daycare. And then another one of our friends got him another job. And sure enough, he got unhappy with working all the time and said that he didn't have a life and he couldn't go out and party with his friends. And he started going default on his bills. So, of course, the bank was calling me saying the car note has not been paid.
Imagine that.
So, you know.
And when did that happen? After the breakup?
Yes, after the breakup. So I asked him, you know, on March the 1st, I asked him when was he going to pay his car note. And then he said, yes, he was going to put all the rest of the money that he had on the car note. Now, I hadn't seen him. He was going in and out, in and out. We was missing each other. When I caught him one day, so I ran out the door to catch him and asked him if he paid his car note, and he was in a different car. So I walked up to the car and I was like, where's your car at? And he was like, oh, I dropped it off at the dealership. And
This was
like,
when?
This was March.
Do you know what day in March or around what day?
Yes, I wrote it down. Because I had to call the police to trace the car down. Because when I called the dealership, they said they didn't have the car.
So the dealership didn't have the car. You called the police to trace the car. And where did you find the car?
After calling the police, and the police called him, so finally he responded to the police. And they was like, he said he has the car. So he went and tried to drop the car off the dealership. They told him it'd have to be a voluntary repo. So then he dropped it off at the dealership. So I went up to the dealership. I'm talking to the dealership because I'm not taking a voluntary repo on my credit.
and then you got the car, and you decided that you wanted to just have the car, own the car.
Right.
So what did you do with the car you had? Or you just kept both, or you just got
Both.
rid of it?
I had to pay March's car note, then I had to pay April.
You paid March and April?
Yes.
And you picked up the car. And now here's what I need from you. I need proof that you paid March and April.
Okay.
And then I need proof of when you picked up the car from the dealership. What's going on?
When he told me that he wanted the car, that was after I had already took it to the dealership, like he said. And while I was there, he texted me and said to bring him the keys to the car.
Okay,
And
do you have that text?
yes.
Okay, pull your phone out, turn it on, and find me the text, because that'll be the day he took over the car. And then there's no mystery here.
Actually, Your Honor, it was
9th
like
of April.
The 9th of April.
Yes,
All
'cause
right,
I had
did
to
you,
pay
okay, I'm
them.
not talking to you. The 9th of April, let me see the text. And so question to you, did you ever talk with him beforehand and tell him I'm going to voluntarily turn in this car? Do you understand what that does to a person's credit?
I was just trying to cut all ties with him because he kept on going back and forth. We're going to take this car back and you're going to downgrade. And he called me the B word. And I was just like, okay, I'm not going to keep going on with this forever since it's in his name too. So I just went up to the bank to voluntary repo it.
So the actions you were taking to, quote, get him out of your life was going to be affecting his credit for a long time to come. And that's the guy who was willing to pony up so you could get a car you couldn't afford. How much was your car note, just out of curiosity?
$616 a month.
How much?
$616.
$616. You ever had a car note that high? All right, so what happened between you two? What was the breakup about?
Well, one day when I got off, well, I wasn't even off work. I was just on break. I came home and the door was locked and I couldn't get into the apartment. And I was knocking for like 3 minutes and he finally comes and opens the door. And there's this guy on the couch that just got under my blanket. I didn't even ask him
Wait,
about it.
the guy on the couch was what about your blanket?
He was under my blanket.
Just totally hiding under a blanket?
Mm-hmm.
Like you couldn't see his head or anything? Like just he was trying to not be seen?
Mm-hmm. So,
Wow, I wouldn't pick the blanket to
Yeah,
hide
that's
in.
not a good place.
There were no closets in your apartment? All right, go on.
So I went, I didn't even, I was just mad. So I just went and got in the
You
shower.
weren't mad?
I was mad,
Oh,
but
okay.
I didn't say anything because if I had just said something and it wasn't right, then he would get all crazy and everything.
You see a lump under your blanket and you don't ask him, were you cheating on me, yes or no?
I did after.
Okay, and then you guys broke up.
Yes,
All right. Tell me about the lease that both of your names are on.
we just had to pay a reletting fee.
Right, and did you ever pay the reletting fee?
I kept going up there to pay for it. I would knock on the door to see if he's there and everything so we could go pay it.
But why wouldn't you pay your part? That's what you got to be concerned about. Somebody handed me this morning like 8 inches of text between you two. If you text each other so often to say all the nasty things that you say, why couldn't you just text him and say, when can we go to...
I had already changed my number. I didn't want him to have my number.
Well, then why couldn't you call from your work number or somebody else's number?
I had one of my
I
friends.
don't believe you try to pay the reletting fee. So you acknowledge that you owe the $333 reletting fee, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the question is the car payments. According to you, the text is April 9th. According to you, the text is April 9th?
Yes, I had to
All
go
right.
pay.
Now, do you have proof that did you pay March or did he pay March?
I paid March.
Can I see the proof of, both of you claim you paid March. Both of you show me proof
No.
of who paid March.
I don't have my paper.
Your Honor, I paid March because
I don't want to hear any more flapping gums. Show me the proof of March payment. That's it. And you too. Show me the proof of March payment if you paid it. What day is the note due?
the 23rd of every month.
On April 14th, the March payment was made. On May 8th, the April payment was made. Okay, so, and now you're showing me a debit on, everything else here is the month of March, so I think that's 0303. So are you purporting to say that on 0303 you paid a payment that was due on the 20th?
I pay my payments early.
Good, then show me all the proof of that. If you have proof that you paid, show it to me. You got anything?
You can't find it.
No? The car note is how much? 616?
Yes.
Find something cool.
Did you get the distinct impression that things were kind of one-sided in this relationship?
I did. Going through our relationship, Your Honor, I was paying for everything. In fact, that's even in some of the text messages I have where he said he couldn't afford the car.
Did
And
you guys have a violent relationship or just some violence after the breakup?
violence after the breakup.
What happened?
It was his birthday, and I thought he would be gone on his birthday. So me and my new partner and my best friend,
Who happens to be his ex-boyfriend? Go ahead.
we came to the apartment and we just went straight to the room, but he was sitting on the couch with the guy that he cheated on me with. So we went to my room, and we were just going straight to sleep. So he comes and knocks on the door after 30 minutes and says that we have 45 minutes to get out of this apartment that both of our name is on, or he's gonna do whatever. He's holding a Moscato bottle in his hand and a pipe in the other hand.
And the bottle's empty, or what do you
Yes.
mean? Or he's drinking it? What do you
No,
mean?
it's a weapon.
I
He's
was
holding it as a
drinking.
weapon.
Just a second, sir. I'm not talking to you.
So I walked out because Josh wanted me to move his car because he thought he was going to do something to it. So I went out and moved his car, and I come back and the door is locked. So I'm like, why is he locking the door when he just seen me walk out and they're still in the house? So I come around to the back of my window to try to go in the window, and he comes around with the Moscato bottle and the pipe in his hand, starts yelling at me outside. We start arguing, and I just didn't want to feel ghetto outside in the apartment complex yelling. So I go inside, and he follows me inside and starts yelling at me again and starts flailing the bottle around like he's finna hit me with it. And I keep telling him, stop waving that bottle in my face. And then he comes and swings it at me, and we start fighting. He tackles me, and I land on this glass table he has, and I got a big bruise from that. And he starts biting me on my chest and my stomach and scratched me up
The
everywhere.
police called?
No.
How did it end?
We just got up and looked at each other, and I was just like, we need to go because this is ridiculous.
Okay, these two guys were fighting. The question is, when you're fighting, and even if it's mutual combat, is biting ever fair game?
I don't think so. It shouldn't be.
So if it's mutual combat, even in mutual combat, biting, fair game or not?
No, it's not. It's not a fair game because it's both sides have their own opinions, and one doesn't accept the other one.
The fist opinion is different than the mouth opinion. Okay.
No, biting's not fair.
Biting crosses the line.
Yeah, biting crosses the line.
Even in a fight with mutual combat.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
What's the harassment $500 that you're asking for?
Your Honor, the night of my birthday, I had a get-together with some friends over. Everybody had just started leaving around 1:30 to 2 o'clock, and I had a bottle of Moscato in my hand that I was drinking. When he came over with my ex and my ex-friend, I told him, I said, no, y'all need to go. This is my birthday. I was talking to them. He got in my face and was like, these are my guests, my friends, da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's just right here in my face, just yelling down on me. And he pushed me and punched me. He hit me first. That's when we started fighting. And I tackled him. And ever since then, Your Honor, him and his friends were doing nothing but talking about me on Facebook, slandering my name.
How was he harassing you through text?
He was calling me names, like all kind of bad names, and telling me.
Show me those texts. Were you harassing him through text?
Every time he would text me, I would just retaliate.
But when you say retaliating, that means he hit first. So that means he texted first. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
That's not true, Your Honor.
I think you're both at it. I don't see how you're saying that he was harassing you. You're both kind of harassing each other. I think you both kind of enjoy it. I'm not going to award you anything for harassment. As for the car notes, you were responsible for the part of April that you had the car, and he is responsible for the part of April that he had the car. So $184.79 of April, when you divide April into the number of days that it has, is the defendant's portion. Plus the March bill is $616. So on the car note, that's a total of $800.79. That is what he owes you. He also owes you the reletting fee of $333 for a total then judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,133.79. That's my verdict. Good luck, gentlemen.
Well, the defendant leaves the courtroom after hearing that verdict, which goes in favor of the plaintiff. What are your thoughts on that?
I can't really say anything about it because the judge ruled, but I'm not really entitled to be paying him all of that if he took over the car note himself.
You two seem to be like made for each other. You can't get out of each other's way, suing each other, relationship, and now this.
I've tried to get away from him.
Why do you think he's suing you?
Because he's mad because I whooped his ass in the fight.
That's it? Mm-hmm. All right, head around the corner this way. Okay, so that's why you're suing him, because he beat you in the fight.
He can't fight. That's why he had all them whips. I just feel like he slandered me a lot on Facebook, and throughout my Facebook, I did not respond. I was bigger than that, and I wouldn't respond to the foolishness. And I feel like I didn't get a chance to explain that because he did tell some lies in the courtroom.
Was he trying to goad you on when he brought your ex-boyfriend back in like that?
I think he was, because
is that what you do to each other?
I even have messages where he said how ugly he looked and how unattractive he was.
You still have any feelings left for him?
I don't, especially not with him dating my ex. I just feel like that's the most ratchet thing anybody can do. I feel like they're both desperate and they're made for each other.
Okay, that's it from here.
Okay, Kurt, to get damages for harassment, you pretty much have to show you're clean yourself. In this case, there was mutual harassment, so no damages for that.